Everyone, this is John Longwell, the Web Services Coordinator, and I will be doing a School Messenger Presence training for you today. This is training on how to use our new website. Hooray! Alright, as we begin, I want to share this Google Slides with you so you can follow along. I will be referring to it from time to time as I go through the training. You can go to bit.do/web-training in order to access this Google slide. And as we begin, I will share some of these other hyperlinks with you that will relate to what we're doing. To log into the website while at work, simply click on the login link at the top of the page. You will automatically be logged in. To verify that you are logged in, you should see your email address just to the left of the logout link. To log in from home, simply click the login link as before. A new page will open and a login box will appear. Your username is your computer username and password. In this case, your first dot last name. And the regular password you use to log in to your work computer. After you've entered your credentials, click the Login button. Once again, you will automatically be logged in, and you will verify that you're logged in when you see your email address. So now let's look at user profile and navigation. And the first thing that we're going to look at is how to navigate around the site rather easily. Now, if you ever get lost in the site, you can simply click on the Rio Rancho Public Schools logo and it will take you back to the home screen, as well as, of course, using the home button. To edit your user profile, simply click your email address and it will bring up your profile page. Click the Edit User tab. The information in your user account cannot be changed by you. If you click on the User Profile tab, it will bring up information that you can change. The two pieces of required information for your website profile are your job title and a user photo or image. You can go ahead and enter any other information that you would like to, and when you're done, simply click the Update User button at the bottom of the page and it will save all of the information that you've entered. The format for your job title is your legal job title hyphen your abbreviated location. So for me, the Web Services Coordinator hyphen DO, which stands for District Office. So if you're a staff member or a teacher, you would enter your teacher job title, second grade teacher, hyphen MCE, if your location happened to be Maggie Cordova Elementary. And don't forget to hit the Update User button at the bottom to save your changes. Click on the User Photo tab to update your image. If you've previously uploaded an image, you can simply remove it, hitting the Remove button, and simply add a new image by selecting the Choose File and go to your computer where your images are stored. Click on the image that you'd like to use, click the Open File button, and you will see that your new image has been added. Click Upload, and your new user photo has been added to your profile. These other areas, preferences and transcript, you will not need to worry about. So as we said, we can go back to the home page by clicking on the Rio Rancho Public Schools logo, and it takes us right back to the home screen. Alright, the next thing I want to show you is some of the basic navigation on the site. So you're going to see that the navigation that we have no longer has these little slide outs, which can be kind of annoying. Takes you a little bit too long to get where you're going. Instead, we have one drop down, and all of the subpages are found within the pages that you click on. So we've clicked on administration, and now all of the subpages under administration are listed here neatly on the left. You can click on any of these subpages links. You still have your subpage menu there for easy access to navigate around within this department's administration subpage. And also you can use your breadcrumbs, and these are the links here that basically show how far you have drilled down into this departments page. So we can click on administration. It will take us right back to the administration page. We can actually click on departments, and it will take us right back to the departments page, which also has a list of the subpages, which is consistent with this drop down. All right, the next thing that I'd like us to look at is, and we've already shown you the navigating the subpages and the breadcrumbs. The next thing I would like to show you is how to navigate to the schools. So let's say that you are on your site and you want to go to a different site. So you simply click on this select school dropdown. You select the school that you want to go to. Now as you navigate there, initially you're going to be required to log in. In the future, this, I said, will be taken away because this will all be public access, but for the time being you'll need to navigate. As you'll see, not all the content is fully migrated over to the school sites yet. That's still in process. And then if you want to go back to the site that you are at, you're going to go back to the Rio Rancho Public Schools site. Okay, pretty easy. All right, the next thing that we're going to look at is the edit controls. Now the edit controls will appear on pages where you have permissions to edit. And if you're a teacher, you will not need to use the page options at all. If you are a department administrator or a site admin for your school or for the district office, and you have a department page that you're overseeing, you will have these page options. No one actually needs to really use any of these top four. Site admins and department page administrators will use these, and I'll actually go over these pages a little bit later. The only other link here which is of great use is the Check Links tab. You will click on this, and what it will do is it will check your page to see if you have any broken links. This can be rather important if you're linking to a lot of external sites, because you do not know if one of those links has changed. And from time to time I would perform this check links test in order to make sure that all of the links to external sites are functioning properly. Now the last thing that you're going to see is the plus page, and we'll also go over that when we go over the page options a little bit later, is this design mode area. Now right now the design mode is off, meaning that we're not able to edit any of our content. When we click the design mode, it will go from off to on. The button will go from red to green, showing that you now have the opportunity to edit all of the content on your page. And here we have what's called a portlet. So we will go over what a portlet is. Different kinds of portlets. Now the first kind that we're going to discuss, and I'll give you a little bit of terminology first. A portlet is a mini program with a specific functionality, such as a slideshow, a content box, a calendar, so on and so forth. And they function by simply dragging them here from the menu into this red outlined area, and then you simply drop it on the page. And as you can see, I've actually already dropped a bunch of these portlets on the page. We're going to go ahead and go over what the different kinds of portlets are. Now here on the navigation menu, you're going to see a lot of different menu options, but I don't want you to concern yourself, because the only three that you will really ever need to use is the basic portlets, the collaboration portlets, and eventually the form portlets, but right now we're not using those. The content management, my portlets, parent applications, student applications, and teacher applications you will not need to bother with. And so let's go ahead and we will look at the basic portlets, and I will go over the functionality in an overview of what each one of these does. The banner is actually just this. If we look on the home page here, we will see that the banner is just a group of images that change. And so if you had a department page and you wanted to add a nice little banner at the top of your department homepage, you can go ahead and drag in this banner and you would put it in there, and then you can add images to it and style it a little bit, and then you're good to go. Now the next portlet that we have is a content portlet. And the content portlet, we can actually see here on the page. All of this information here was added inside of this content portlet. This is going to be the most widely used portlet that you will use for your page, because it's where you can add images, you can add text, you can add links, you can add all kinds of things. And so this will be the one that you will use the most. A data summary is one that you will probably not use, and so I'm not going to go into any details about that. The next one is a map. If you drag this into your page, you will be able to create a Google map. So you would drag it in there and you would simply set the location, and then it would have a map to whatever destination that you might needing to be highlighting. Now the last thing that I want to show you in the basic portlet library is tabs. Now tabs is kind of a neat little feature, and I've already got one up here, so let's go ahead and look at the tabs function. So within our tabs, here we have the ability, and I'm actually going to go into the edit mode so you can actually see what it looks like. So tabs is simply just that. It's a series of tabs. Now I've added tabs for seasons of the year. And let's just add one more so you can see what that looks like. It's going to create an additional tab, tab number 5, and we'll call this vacation because that is my favorite season of the year. Once that's done, I'll hit enter and publish, and I'll actually go through all of the publish and options with you in just a minute. But here's what we have is the tabs allows you to create what I would call a horizontal site container, so that if you had something that you wanted to have but you didn't want to go down the page and you wanted to add content, you can actually just tab between the different tabs here, and you can look at all of the different content that you have added. And it really functions the same as the content container. You can add images, you can add links, and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of a neat little portlet, and one that I hope that you will utilize and have some fun with. Okay, so the next group of portlets that we'll be looking at is the collaboration menu tab. And we have a calendar. Once again, you can simply drag and drop the calendar, and that's pretty straightforward. You can link that to an iCal feed. You can add calendar events. That one's pretty straightforward. The discussion portlet is also fairly understandable. You can start different discussions. You can monitor those discussions. So this will be a feature that I'm sure a lot of teachers will use as well. The document container is just as it sounds. We actually have this on our current School Fusion site, so this is not going to be anything new. Inside of the document container, you're going to be able to add folders, you're going to be able to add files, you're going to be able to add links. And so right here we see that there's no items in our document container. And so let me go ahead and we can add a new item, and as you can see, you can add a file, you can add a subfolder, you can add a link. And so this is a great repository for a lot of different things. One thing that I will caution you about with the document container is if you add items here, it will only live on this page. So it's not going to be available within the website file manager. Just keep that in mind if you decide to use that. All right, so the next collaboration portlet is the group bios. And that's kind of a neat little portlet, and let me show you what that one looks like. So the group bios allows you to go in and add different profiles that exist within our School Messenger website. And so if you're a department and you wanted to add the employees of your department, you would simply go in here and you can grab you might say that it's like a mini directory. And what it allows you to do is it allows you to to add the contact information for these particular employees without having to create a separate contact list. And so that's kind of a neat little staff directory or a department directory that you would be able to utilize. Okay, the next one is the mini calendar. Now the mini calendar needs to work in conjunction with a calendar that you add onto the page, because it simply only is a display site for events that reside within the calendar. So let's say like you have a main department calendar, but then you've got some other subpages and you want to highlight an event from your main calendar. You could add in a mini calendar to your page, and then it would allow those users on that page to be able to see some of those events. And in a similar fashion, the upcoming events works in a very similar way. In fact, let me show you what that looks like. On our home page here, we have some upcoming events, and this is being fed from the main Rio Rancho Public Schools calendar. And so this is exactly what it would look like if you decide to use that portlet on your page. Now, School Messenger has recently just released this modern photo gallery. So this is actually going to replace the old photo gallery. So you won't need to use the photo gallery. Use the modern photo gallery if you're going to be adding some photos to your page. And that's pretty self-explanatory. And there's some video tutorials that will show you how to use that. I'm not going to take time in this training to show you how to use that. The last one is a wiki. And a wiki is basically just a way of collaborating with other individuals to add content about a specific topic. If you had a department and you wanted to collaborate with some individuals, you will see that anybody can add content files to this wiki. You can name it whatever you want. Not something that I've used a lot in the past, but maybe since it's accessible here on our website, it might be something that you would like to use. Okay, so we've gone through the basic portlets, and we've also gone through the collaboration portlets. That's all I'm going to cover here, because the rest of these menu tabs you will not need to worry about. Okay, so the next item on our list is I'd like to show you some basic, we're going to get into more of how to edit our content. So within our we're still in our design mode, so you can see all of the tabs here. And let me actually go down to the content portlet here, because this has all of the tabs that will be available to you. The pencil, if you click it, it will enter the edit mode. This one is the history, and I'll show you that in just a second. Now, instead of a delete button, we have a minimize button. And when any of your portlets are minimized, they will not be visible once you publish. And so this allows you to maintain anything that you've created in the past, but instead of deleting it or having to archive it, which you can do, but we're not going to get into because this is just a much easier process for you to do that. You can simply minimize the portlet, and then it will no longer be visible on your page. So now let's get back to the history. Let's go ahead and enter into the edit mode, and I will show you the different ways to save your content. So if you've entered some content, found out that it's not what you want, you can hit cancel, and it will exit out of the page without saving any of the content. Let's say like you've made some changes to your content, but you're not quite ready to go live. You can go ahead and save it as a draft, and it will save it, but it will not be published live. If you've created content, you're now ready to publish it and go live, you simply hit the publish button, and all of that content will be live. However, now let's say like you remember that, well, you know what, there was some content that I created a little while back, and I want to utilize that content. So we click back on our design mode, because that's what allows us to edit our page. We're actually going to look at the history of those saved drafts. So we click on this little timepiece. Now the window that opens up, it has all of the different versions and when they were created and when they were last edited. And if you'd like to preview this content, all you have to do is hit preview for that particular date, and that content will show up down here in this version preview. You can also see which version is live, and if there's a particular version that you would like to make live, all you have to do is click on the Make Live button link and it will make that particular version live. Okay, the last thing that I want to show you inside of our content edit, so I've clicked on the pencil and now we're going into the actual content edit area, and you're going to see that at the very bottom of your screen you have three options. We're in design mode right now. It's got the pencil. If you want to enter some HTML code, if you're proficient with that, you can go to the HTML and it will show you all the behind the scenes formatting code. Or if you'd simply like to look at what your page is going to look like live without actually having to publish, you can push preview and it will show you the live version of all of the content that you have just added or edited. And so that's an important button for you to remember. Okay. The next thing that I'd like to get into is show you how to actually start editing some content. And we're going to start, we went through the drafts, and we're actually going to start by editing by adding an image. So now I'm going to click on design mode again. I'm going to scroll down to the portlet that I want to edit. I'm going to click on the pencil and it's going to load all of the edit options. These should be very familiar to you if you've used Word, and this is also very similar to what we had with SchoolFusion. All right, so the first bit of content that I'd like to add is an image. And the first thing that we need to do is simply click our cursor where it is on the page that we want to add an image. And then we go up to the File Manager and we open the File Manager. Now it's important to stay organized within your department's folders. So we're in the IT page, so we're going to go to the IT folder. If you don't have a folder, you can create one here, and I would make sure that all of your images go in there. Now the second thing that we're going to do is we're going to simply click an image. So we've got our back to school image right here. And so we can use the built-in image editor if we needed to resize or crop or do some of those different things to the image. But once we've chosen the image, it's highlighted over here, then we're going to click Insert. But we're going to get this little message that says, please enter the alt text. The alt text field is available in the Properties tab. So we hit OK there. And now we need to enter our alt text. Alt text is descriptive text between 4 to 8 words that tell people with visual disabilities who are using screen readers that are reading to them. And so we need to put in here, back to school pencil photo or image. Now if we wanted to change the alignment of our image, we wanted this to be left aligned so that all the text goes around it, we can do that. We've got all of our stuff. Now we simply hit Insert, and here we have our insert. Now we can see that that is a little bit snug, so if I highlight that and right click, I can go back to the properties of that image, and I want to add just a little bit of margin to the right hand side. Let's say maybe about 5 pixels, or if we wanted just a little bit more, 10 pixels, and we hit OK. Now we can see that there's a little bit of space between the image and the text, and it all sits nicely on the page. So that's how to add an image. The next thing, and I went over the alt text. Now this is very important that all images have alt text for ADA compliance, and we'll get into that in just a little bit more. The next thing I want to show you how to add is a video. So I'm going to go to YouTube here, and maybe we can pick one of our school videos. Alright, so we'll go to my channel, which will be the Rio Rancho Public Schools channel, and oh, we got a great bloopers video. So we simply click on that bloopers video. I'm not going to actually watch it, and then we go down to here where it says share, and we can grab this URL and we copy that URL. So we now have that. Now we go back to our site. Now let's say at the very end of this, right before we start the right after the ed text, right before we start our internet safety curriculum, we want to add a bloopers video. We've got two ways in which we can add video. We can use the media manager, which is just like the image manager, or we can use insert external video. So if we have any video that's actually living external video, like a YouTube video, we simply go in there, we paste in our link, and then we can hit embed code, and this will put our embed code right within there. And we have some different options. Pretty much you can leave these all default, unless you want to increase the size of your window there. You can do that here, change the width, the height. With the enable privacy enhance mode, this will keep ads and other suggested videos from playing after your video has completed, which is a very nice feature, especially for a school where we don't need a lot of commercialization or possibly inappropriate suggested videos. So once that's done, we hit save, and here we have a nice video inserted into our page. Now the other way that we can do this is if we have a video that's within the media manager. So let's say like right below this video, and once again we're going to place our cursor where we want the next video to go. Okay, so now here we have where we want to grab our video from our media file manager. So we go into our media file manager, it opens up to our folder structure. Here we're going to click on our IT folder, we're going to click on our run fight hide video, and let's say like we wanted, that's pretty darn small, so let's change that to 300. Let's change that to 300. That's a little bit bigger. You've got a lot of different display options here, a lot of different properties that you can choose. You can play around with those and see which one works best for you. And once you're done, you can hit insert, and it will insert your video. And once that's done, you are good to go to start playing, and we can watch our video if we wanted, but we're not going to take time to do that. But that's how you insert a video from the video file manager. Okay, the next thing that we're going to look at is how to add a document link. So let's say like underneath this video I have a particular PDF that I want to include. So we go up here to this little thing with a paperclip, the document manager, and you're going to see a very familiar pattern. You click on that and it's going to bring up a file manager structure very similar to the image manager and the media manager. So once again I go to IT, and let's say internet safety. We have our safety videos. So now once again I'm going to show you something. I'm going to try to insert this. Oh, it's saying that please enter a tooltip. Now a tooltip is basically the same thing for a document as what alt text is for an image. It's basically descriptive image, and we're going to say this is our internet safety document. This is required for those who have that are utilizing screen readers, so that when they hover over this particular link, they're going to actually get some helpful information about what this link, what this document is linking to. So we hit insert, and there we have. Now maybe you want to give this a different name instead of just the link of that. So we can go back in, we can highlight that, we can click on properties, and what we can do is we can actually give it a target name. So and you can also have it open up in a different window. So you can call it and if you want to change the name of the text, you can just say internet safety document. That way it's nice and clean. We've chosen the target window that we want it to go into, and we have our tooltip, because if we don't have our tooltip, we're going to get an error window like we did with the image editor or with the image manager. We go ahead and hit OK, and now we see it says internet safety document, and when you click on that, that will take you, and it also has the little help of showing us what that is. So the next thing that we're going to look at is the adding a hyperlink. Now this is pretty straightforward to most folks, but let's just say, like, for example, internet safety curriculum, we wanted to link to an external site that actually had information about that. Or let's say, like, this was already a link, we could click this and it would actually remove the link. But in this case we want to add a hyperlink. And so in this case we could just make up some website. We could just say rps.net is where they can find that curriculum. We want this to open up in a different window. We're going to put in that this is internet safety website with curriculum. A nice descriptive 4 to 8 word description so that it's helpful for folks that have the screen readers. And then we hit, and then the link text is already there because that's what we highlighted. We hit OK, and now our internet safety curriculum is going to link, in this case, to rps.net, which we don't want. So if we hit remove link, it'll set it right back to the way that it was. Okay. So the next thing that I want us to look at is the hyperlink manager, which we were just in, and you'll notice that we've got the target window. There's a couple of different ways that you can anchor to text. You can anchor to text on your page so that when people click on a link, it may take them down the page to somewhere else in maybe some text to a specific place of text within the article. You could even hyperlink to someone's email so that it will open up someone's default email, which in this case would be our rrps.net Gmail account. The next thing that I would like to highlight is that alt text and tooltips are required because of ADA compliance. And if we don't have alt text on our images or tooltips on our links for hyperlinks, then we run financial risk to being sued by folks that need these kind of tools in place. And it's also just better user practices that we make sure that we're providing everyone that will be using the internet with full accessibility. The next thing that I'd like to show you how to do is how to paste text from a website. Alright, in order to copy and paste web text from another website, now let's say like we wanted to just copy this District Executive Director of Athletics text, we would highlight the text, right click, hit copy, go back to our page where we're going to insert it. You see where the cursor is blinking. Hit the cursor, right click, and then simply paste as plain text, and there we have that message in there from Bruce Carver. Okay. So the last thing that I want to show you how to do, and this will not apply to teachers or to folks that simply edit content on a page. This will apply to site managers or those that oversee a particular department where they have multiple pages and they need to have the ability to create other pages. So as they go into their options, they're actually going to see this plus page option. And the plus page option has a drop down with page portlets. And I say that because the calendar page portlet is exactly the same as the calendar portlet that you can drag and drop into the page. But what this allows you to do is simply create a separate page with the portlet functionality of a calendar and a blog and the content space page, which is exactly like what we have here, and then the document container. Now the ones that are different are the external link page, the news section. The photo gallery is somewhat similar to the modern photo gallery, but the teacher page are the ones that are separate, and I'll go over these right now. So if you wanted to create a sub page over here that links to another page on the web, you would simply add page and you would add an external link page. Now, if you wanted to create a news section, this one's a little bit more complicated, so I'm not going to go over that in this tutorial video here. There's some other video helps that will teach you how to do that, but this involves a little bit more of a process. Teacher pages, these will be created by the EdTech for you so that you will be able to have a teacher page. And then the wiki pages is also something that we've learned about within the other portlet. Okay, now the page options tab. I went over this just a little bit in the beginning, but if you are a site admin, or if you're someone that oversees your department pages, then you will have this option. You will not see this if you are simply given permissions to edit a page, or if you have teacher pages. Now, the ones that we do not want to use are page properties, page layout, or metadata, which is these top four here. So metadata, page layout, page properties, don't worry about using those. Now, the manage subpages, the release schedule, this has to do with when you actually create your page. When you go to publish your page, there's a way that you can actually decide when you want to publish the page, or decide when that page will expire. And if you want to go in and change when those dates are, you will go to the release schedule in order to do that. Now, the page order is just as what it says. You would go into the page order and you would see all of the different pages here. And I have done this. If I click on that, it's going to alphabetize them. Now, if I clicked the other way, then it's going to go in a descending order from Z to A, but I always like to keep all my page order alphabetical. It's just easier for the user to find. Or if you want a specific link, you can simply drag it and you can position it that way, and then hit update page order, and it will reorder the page order of your sub pages. The other manage option under page options is page status. And you can simply go in, and if for a specific time maybe you do not want to show a certain subpage, so you would click hide, and then that subpage will no longer be visible. Or if you would like to archive that page and you know that you're not going to be using it altogether, you would simply click the check box next to whichever subpage you want to archive, and then you click on the archive button. And the last item that we have under manage subpages is the archived subpages. You would click on this to see all of the pages that are archived. And if you want to actually maybe bring one of those archived pages back, you click on the checkbox next to the link, you hit unarchive, and it will be added back live to your subpage list. And then simply, if you want to look at all of the subpages, now this is going to be only those subpages that are live. It's not going to be the archive subpages. You hit view subpages and you will have a full list of those subpages. And you can actually go and you can click on that, and it will take you right to that particular subpage. Okay, so and we want to go back to our IT page. All right. So there's a lot more help that is available, and you can find videos and you can find PDFs and help cards by going to the RRPS.net website. Under the Staff Help menu tab, you will find the training link towards the bottom. Click on that and then go to the website training area. If you have any questions, you can always email me at webmaster@rrps.net. Thank you very much for watching this tutorial video.